The shameless, dirty girl burst through the church doors in rags. Security grabbed her arms. The billionaire's bride screamed. But then, the homeless girl pulled out a cracked phone and pressed play. What came out of that speaker made a room full of millionaires gasp in horror. The wedding was seconds away from sealing a $500 million fraud. And the only person who knew the truth, a 13-year-old kid who'd been sleeping behind the church benches for 2 years. This is the true story of how one brave girl saved a man's empire and changed her life forever. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell because stories like this don't come around often. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from: New York, London, Lagos. Let's go. Marcus Sterling wasn't born rich. At 43, he was a self-made billionaire who'd built an empire from nothing. He owned 7 luxury hotels across 3 continents, a chain of 50 premium restaurants, and coffee franchises in 15 countries. His net worth, $2.3 billion. But here's what made Marcus different from other billionaires. 10 years ago, after his wife died in a plane crash, Marcus did something extraordinary. He created the Sterling Hope Foundation, a charity that fed homeless families, built shelters, and sent poor kids to college. Why? Because Marcus had been that poor kid once. His single mother had worked 3 jobs just to keep him fed. He never forgot the nights they ate cereal for dinner, or the times he wore shoes with holes in them to school. So when he made his fortune, he gave back. Millions of dollars, thousands of lives changed. And now, Marcus was getting married again. Her name was Victoria Sinclair, age 37, stunning, elegant. From old money, her family owned art galleries and vineyards in France. They'd met at a charity gala 8 months ago. She'd seemed perfect, beautiful, sophisticated, and passionate about helping others, or so it seemed. Their engagement made headlines. Billionaire bachelor finally finds love again. Nobody suspected a thing. Nobody except Maya. Maya Rodriguez was 13 years old, but life had aged her beyond her years. She'd been homeless for 3 years ever since her mother overdosed, when Maya was just 10. No father, no family, no one. Child Services placed her in foster care, but the family was abusive. They locked her in a closet when she misbehaved, denied her food as punishment. So one night, Maya ran. Living on the streets taught her 3 things: stay invisible, trust no one, find safe places to sleep. Her safest place was the Cathedral of St. Joseph, a gorgeous stone church on Riverside Avenue that had stood for 120 years. During the day, people came to pray. At night, it was supposed to be locked. But Maya had found her way in. There was a bathroom window in the back that didn't latch properly. She'd squeeze through, drop down, and hide behind the last row of wooden pews at the very back of the cathedral. She had a thin blanket stuffed under the bench. At night, she'd wrap herself up and sleep on the cold marble floor. It wasn't comfortable, it wasn't warm, but it was safe. And that's where Maya first heard about Marcus Sterling. Flashback 1 year ago. She was in line at a soup kitchen, stomach growling, hands shaking from hunger. A volunteer handed her a sandwich chicken and avocado on fresh bread and said, "This meal is provided by the Sterling Hope Foundation. Mr. Marcus Sterling started this program because he believes everyone deserves kindness." Maya never forgot that sandwich or that name. Marcus Sterling. One of the good ones. One of the rare people who actually helped instead of just walking past with their eyes on their phones. That's why when Maya heard Victoria Sinclair plotting in the church that night, she knew she had to act. It happened 3 weeks before the wedding. Maya was sleeping in her usual spot when she heard voices echoing through the cathedral. Her eyes snapped open, heart pounding. The voices were coming from the sacristy, a private room at the front where the priest kept his vestments. That door was always locked, always. But someone was inside. Maya stayed frozen, barely breathing. On the streets, she'd learned that staying quiet could save your life. Whispered, dramatic narration. She heard 3 distinct voices. The first voice was a woman's, smooth, confident. "Are you absolutely certain this will work?" The second was a man's, nervous. "I've reviewed the documents 20 times. Once he signs as your husband, the automatic asset transfer activates. You'll own 50% of everything legally." The third was another man, cold, calculated, and the power of attorney. The woman again. "I'll have him sign it on our honeymoon in the Maldives. He'll think it's standard married couple paperwork. In reality, it gives me complete control over his accounts, his businesses, everything." Maya's blood ran cold. The woman continued. "Marcus trusts me completely. The poor, lovesick fool. He actually thinks I care about his precious charity work. Rich men are so predictable. You just need to be beautiful, smile sweetly, and pretend to care about their boring foundation galas. Marcus actually believes I love him." The nervous man asked, "What happens after they take control?" "Simple, we liquidate. The hotels sell first. They'll bring in $800 million easy. The restaurants and coffee chains, another $300 million. Then we drain the foundation accounts before anyone realizes what's happening." "And Sterling?" the cold man asked. "By the time Marcus realizes what happened, I'll have frozen his accounts and moved the money offshore. He can take me to court if he wants. It'll take years. He'll be left with nothing." Maya pressed her hand over her mouth to keep from gasping out loud. This woman, this monster, was going to destroy Marcus Sterling. For the next 4 nights, they kept meeting in that sacristy. Each night, Maya learned more. Victoria's real name was Victoria Chen. She'd been using her stepfather's last name Sinclair to seem more prestigious. She had massive gambling debts in Macau, nearly $8 million. Her lawyer was actually a disbarred attorney who specialized in fraud. And the business partner was her ex-boyfriend who'd help her sell Marcus's properties after she took control. Maya made a decision. She had an old iPhone 6 she'd found in a dumpster 6 months ago. Cracked screen. Barely held a charge, but it still worked. Tense music. That night, when the voices started up again, Maya did something incredibly brave and incredibly dangerous. She crept out from behind her bench, heart hammering so hard she thought everyone would hear it. She crawled on her stomach across the cold marble floor toward the sacristy. The door had a 1-inch gap at the bottom. Maya slid her phone right up to that gap and pressed record. Play recording sounds, muffled but clear. Victoria's voice came through first. "Let's confirm the timeline one final time." The lawyer answered. "The wedding is Saturday, June 22nd at 4:00 p.m. here at Cathedral of St. Joseph. The marriage certificate gets signed immediately after the ceremony. That triggers the property transfer clause buried in page 47 of the prenup." Victoria again, "Which Marcus never read thoroughly because he trusts me." "Correct. Then on your honeymoon, I'll courier the power of attorney documents to your resort. You'll present them as standard insurance forms for married couples." And being the trusting fool he is, Marcus will sign without his own lawyer reviewing them. The ex-boyfriend spoke up. "What if he gets suspicious?" Cold, calculating tone. Victoria laughed. "He won't. I've spent 8 months playing the perfect fiancé. I went to every boring charity dinner. I smiled at every disgusting homeless person at his soup kitchens. I even pretended to cry when he told me about his dead wife." Cruel laughter. All of it, every kiss, every "I love you," every moment was an act. Marcus Sterling is nothing but a wealthy target. And in 3 weeks, I'll own everything he has. The foundation accounts alone hold $150 million, the lawyer said. "Yes, all that money wasted on feeding poor people and giving scholarships to kids who will amount to nothing anyway. What a joke. That money will be much better spent paying off my debts and funding my real life." The recording lasted 12 minutes. When Maya finally grabbed her phone and scrambled back to her hiding spot, her entire body was shaking. She had the proof. But what could a homeless 13-year-old possibly do with it? Contemplative music. For the next 2 weeks, Maya barely slept. She kept the phone charged, using outlets in public library bathrooms. She listened to the recording over and over, trying to figure out what to do. Go to the police? No. They'd never believe a homeless kid accusing a wealthy socialite. They'd probably arrest her for trespassing in the church. Try to contact Marcus directly? How? She didn't know his phone number, email, or home address. She tried Googling how to contact Marcus Sterling at the library, but everything went through assistants and corporate offices. A homeless girl would never get past those barriers. Try to warn him on social media. Marcus Sterling had 2.3 million Instagram followers. Her message would be buried in thousands of others, and without proof attached, he'd never see it or believe it. There was only one option left. She'd have to stop the wedding herself. In person. Face to face. The plan was simple but terrifying. Wait until the wedding day. Get inside Cathedral of St. Joseph. Find Marcus before he says I do. Play him the recording, and pray he believes her. What could go wrong? Everything. Upbeat wedding music, then shifts ominous. Saturday, June 22nd. Maya woke up behind her bench at 6:00 a.m. She washed her face and hands in the church bathroom. She tried to make herself look as presentable as possible, but there was only so much she could do with torn jeans, a stained hoodie, and shoes held together with duct tape. Her hair was a tangled mess. Her nails were dirty. She had a bruise on her cheek from sleeping on the hard floor. She looked exactly like what she was, a homeless kid. And she was about to walk into a billionaire's wedding. If you are still interested in this story, please like, comment, and hit the subscribe button, because what's going to happen next will shock you. But for now, I'll need more subscribers to be able to post constantly as you wait for the continuation of the story in part 2.